It looks like, yeah, they want to stick with this. Maybe with the Widowmaker as well. No Junkrat though.
They are committed to the Sombra, so they have been reasonably consistent in running Sombras across the board in sort of different points, so that's not hugely surprising to me. At the same time, the Widowmaker is a confidence pick here. Like, they could be playing Sombra and Junkrat, they could be playing Widow and Junkrat. There's a lot of different deviations of what you want to be running. But if Daheem's feeling hot, he's feeling hot.
And I think that's really what it is. Instead of just looking to get that kind of spam damage out from the Orisa Junkrat, they're looking to get a pick of some sort.
Look how keen he is. He's so ready.
He's literally vibrating with excitement. Or maybe because he's flipped into a wall.
So, like, here's the interesting thing. His sort of like sight here is not moving, so his character's moving, but his sight, he would be hard to counter snipe actually. Well, he wouldn't be because he's standing still, but he's shaking.
Yeah. Well, he's especially hard because Chaos Theory don't have any snipers.
That's what makes it really
That's the real difficulty, yeah. But so far it is Chaos Theory kind of set up on the side of the point without having taken really all that much damage or Taheem really hitting the ideal shots. Now they go ahead and commit to the fight. Oh, instantly shut down as Blitz finds one and Taheem finds another. Yeah, able to stay alive and among all that as well with Sleepy Bear in the pocket, actually willing to go directly toe-to-toe with Zest thanks to that pocketed Mercy and of course the Discord Orb on the Winston. DeToNator.KOREA first hold of success.
And identifying which way they need to go to sort of counter-rotate Chaos Theory. In a way, Chaos Theory want to go onto the point. Done, tick that off. DeToNator.KOREA onto almost the opposite side towards their own spawn. Here comes the infra site. Now that actually gives Blitz a ton of information to work with.
Yeah, it's really useful. Taheem, oh, catch on
that's
GNX.
Useful.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. And yeah, useful indeed. GNX, not quite the ideal blink direction. Now Chaos Theory kind of just have to stick around for a while, try and not die while they wait for GNX to rejoin them.
And they could very easily die. This is such a tricky place to be in because GNX does have to rejoin them. Also, Chaos Theory, they can't do anything. If they go backwards, they'll probably die. If they go forwards, they'll die. So just kind of hang out in limbo and ends up being the answer. GNX goes down again.
Same
Chaos
thing.
Theory, it's just like, goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, and gets GNX plus savior for good measure. Not going to save anyone while he's dead. And now Chaos Theory, they've just kind of lost 3 pushes without really getting anything. DeToNator.KOREA, on the other hand, just banking up ultimates.
And we've seen teams get caught in this trap of like, we lose a member, we wait for a member, we lose another member waiting for that member, and you never get your full 6. DeToNator.KOREA back on the Shakes. EMP, wow.
Yeah, and already the shots just kind of raining down from above where he is largely uncontestable. Taheem has really found a kind of sweet spot sniper's nest. Chaos Theory just kind of had to let the wipe happen.
Still got 4 ultimates, and it just looks so strange to me. It's like a lot of nodding. It's like, yes, that's correct.
Yep, yep.
We
Sure
went in,
yep,
we went in.
Absolutely, yep.
I think you went out of tune there. That was a little bit too many. You didn't quite hit the tempo. Anyway.
Oh, geez, sorry. Now just try to get those opening picks once again. This time, Chaos Theory weathering the storm just a touch. Last time they were in this position, though, they weren't able to make it through.
Pulse could find a target. Look, it is Chaos Theory now finding the point. Sound very committed.
They're in just, you know, fully at this point. DeToNator.KOREA have the resources. Krong with the self-destruct. No one dead just yet. Either side of the fence here. Oh, Transcendence a bit too late to save Daheem. And now Chaos Theory, yeah, EMP from Blitz should be the one they need. They beat back Legend. And by the way, Zest being dead means no one to really lock up these backliners. And now it is looking like DeToNator back in control of the fight. Closing out on Ambition. 30 seconds remaining. Chaos Theory get one last chance.
And not even one tick so far, despite all the effort, despite all the sort of counter trades made there. Resources committed even. The Coalescence was definitely thrown in, as well as that sound barrier. 15 seconds, one chance.
They've got the ultimates though. DeToNator are dry. They've banked them up, but they need to make them count. Ambition needs to get a big Dragon Blade. Zest needs to get a big Earth Shatter. A lot of things have to go right here for Chaos Theory still on the point set up. Ambition looking for it. Nothing just yet. There we go. Apache looking to convert a third. No, goes down to Daheem. They still get that third though. And DeToNator are still alive in this fight. The res on Apache. They can't quite get this Earth Shatter. They do get a second third though. DeToNator do have to give it a lot of space. They are aware of these ultimates. There's the Earth Shatter, but it's not got enough. Oh, man. And once again, charging right into an Orisa that is completely immovable. And Chaos Theory just not quite getting the upper hand in this one. Taheem finding himself another one. Krong recommitting. EMP late in the fight. Looks like it's going to be the X factor that closes this one out. Swinging it back over to DeToNator. Chaos Theory getting so close in that one. Almost looking like they were going to get it over the line, but just didn't get all those ultimates connecting as needed. In fact, I think those 2/3 really came more from the threat of the ultimates than from the actual ultimates themselves.
And you said so much needed to go right there for Chaos Theory for them to get a cap. And unfortunately, not a lot did go right. A lot went right, though, for DeToNator.KOREA. The second EMP coming on through as well. They opened that thing up with a hack onto Zest, so they're making sure the Earth Shatter was under control. The Earth Shatter eventually did come down, but straight into a shield, and even if it had gone past the shield, the Orisa Fortify was there to block things out as well.
Yep.
It's just so much that needed to happen that unfortunately did not happen for Chaos Theory.
Really just an unfortunate fight from start to finish for Chaos Theory. In fact, an unfortunate offense. I mean, if it wasn't someone getting picked, really they only had 3 actual fights on the point, one of which went sour pretty quickly. The first one as well didn't really last much longer than that. The rest of the time was just spent with Chaos Theory losing 1 or 2 members, and now they've really got their work cut out for them on their defense.
And Taheem had such a great time playing the Widowmaker, right? Because a lot of that time wasted was him finding individual targets, and then, you know, while Chaos Theory were trying to regroup, finding more targets, and
this is just deeply entertaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a conga line.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
Yep, follow me, gents. Straight to the point. Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. It's uncalled for. Now that they've had their fun, start swapping up to the things they're actually going to play, which does not include a Bastion or a Torbjorn or a Mei.
Aw.
Chaos Theory, though, they're looking to take, similar to what Blank actually did on this map earlier tonight, very dive-heavy defense. They're looking to really stop up DeToNator on the setup.
So they need to get aggressive, right? That's obviously quite obvious, but they also need to find where to get aggressive, which is going to be more important. And that has to be mid-rotation. DeToNator.KOREA have to be caught out mid-rotation. So far, the scouting has revealed what Chaos Theory want to do. Now I'm interested to see how DeToNator respond.
And by the way, they've sent Blitz and Taheem around the side to put pressure on Chaos Theory. Either dive our backliners or come to the point and deal with us. And I don't think Chaos Theory have really noticed. Yeah, they didn't notice them slip past, and that's a tick for free. Now Chaos Theory under immense pressure. And of course, these flankers can just back right off. So already dislodging Chaos Theory from their defensive position. Ambition dead. The hack and the follow-up, the 1-2 punch. And now it's looking to be a full haymaker followed by a knockout for DeToNator.KOREA as they just pick Chaos Theory to pieces. No one left standing in the ring.
Yep, just a nice little
ding, ding, ding
array there from Taheem as the Tracer Apache kicks some air in celebration, and DeToNator.KOREA, look, they just outsmarted Chaos Theory by so much there. They, again, it comes down to identifying what Chaos Theory were going to do. Wow, they're running dive. Well, okay. They're hanging out here. Let's go and sort of backcap them, make them split up their team. Now for Chaos Theory, they got to make a choice. Do they want to dive or do they want to save the cap? Unfortunately, they kind of did neither. They then decide to eventually try and save the cap, but while they were doing that, DeToNator.KOREA just came in from behind, got some members on the back and got their own dive started while the cap was still going through.
Well, it was really clever as well. If you saw the way they went through, actually, the Tracer went in under the ledge, and no one was looking directly downward at the time. So the Tracer went past undetected, and of course the Sombra went past invisible. So they went around opposite sides, had fully scouted out by that point, were totally unnoticed. So Chaos Theory, ideally, if they'd at least spotted one of those two, they could have gone, okay, they're moving to the point to try and pressure us out of this position. That means if we fight now, we get a 6 versus 5. In fact, in this situation, it would have been a 6 versus 4. It's almost impossible to fully lose that one unless the other team backs right off. And you actually saw DeToNator.KOREA were really hanging back so that they could back right off. And then there was this moment where the flankers went, they've not noticed. We can now put pressure on the point. They start to force the hand of Chaos Theory, who have to either take that 6 versus 4 or go back to the point and take the 6 versus 2, but give up all their positioning.
And the difference is Chaos Theory did not scout out DeToNator.KOREA, right? Because they had no, first of all, they had no idea what was going on. Let's take a look at map number 4, which is going to be Dorado. That is something they do know about. And the other thing is they didn't know where the rest of the team was. So 2 members were capping or behind, 4 members kind of just unseen. Like for Chaos Theory, they didn't know what the other 4 members were doing. And if they didn't know what the other 4 members were doing, maybe they could make a play on those other members. Maybe they could force a 4v4 and a 2v2 out back, but they didn't do any of that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I really love the set play there out of DeToNator.KOREA. It just puts Chaos Theory in this really difficult situation, and it does so in a way where there's this real time pressure, you know? It's like, do you give up a third and win the 6 versus 4, or do you come back to the point knowing that those flankers are probably going to have just vanished altogether and lose the positioning? Like, there's no real right answer, and things have to go right for DeToNator.KOREA for that to work. So also Chaos Theory not quite scouting it out, but it's over for them, at least in that regard. They don't have to deal with that impossible situation this time around. It is the match essentially clinched here out of DeToNator.KOREA, who are now looking to convert it into a full 4-0, but Dorado stands between them and that scoreline.
They would love to get the 4-0 as well, as that would put them equally 8-0 in maps as Blank in the opposite group, who definitely look like their main rivals currently, and every subsequent map in this particular series so far is looking more and more convincing in DeToNator.KOREA's favor. That Horizon was all DeToNator, and Chaos Theory starting to slip away from this match altogether.
Unfortunately so, especially when you compare how the very opening map of Nepal went. It does seem like it's been all downhill from there, unfortunate as that is to say. Certainly it's not over, and indeed hasn't been downhill for Chaos Theory, hasn't been uphill for DeToNator.KOREA, because they are also looking cleaner and cleaner, more and more decisive, and ultimately just better at identifying the win conditions in each and every situation.
Daheem back on the Widowmaker as well. We've seen the kind of impact he's had on this match on Horizon Lunar Colony. Indeed, what kind of impact is he now going to have on this map of Dorado? Already 20%. An ult charge, I'd say, pretty good.
Yep. DeToNator.KOREA taking that advanced position, but not looking to take the fight. Backing out, though, in the right kind of time, moving back into the courtyard. We've seen a lot of teams actually overstay in that position because they consider that maybe they will still go in, but not DeToNator.
Look at the position, though. Tanks ready to go. Blitz ready to go. Daheem, sightlines clear on top of the choke. Spots out the flank from Ambition as well. You can't get around this, man.
Yeah, DeToNator, they don't really need to get too aggressive here. They can just wait for Chaos Theory to come to them, but Chaos Theory happy to come to them now with Apache dead. Rez is in, but that gets the payload through the choke. That means that Chaos Theory can start getting more aggressive, start making the proactive moves as they look to dive onto the backliners, with Zest kind of leading that charge. Daheem still just looking to get some kind of headshots or at least put damage down on the tanks. No kills either way just yet.
The cart did move a considerable amount so far. Daheem still looking for his first kill. That's a little bit awkward to say, as Ultimate's becoming a factor now. The Valkyrie from Sleepy Bear, the first one being used.
Ambition looking to dislodge Daheem, unfortunately dead to Apache, and now Blitz can commit his own Dragon Blade. An ultimate that Ambition was not even quite close to having, unfortunately. Chaos Theory is trying to hold on in the fight now. Self-destruct from Distrain, maybe a bit late in the picture here, because DeToNator.KOREA have stabilized with the kills coming through. Chaos Theory will just have to come around for another go.
I do want to say there's a little kind of strange 1 versus 1 happening on the backside. Daheem spent a long time looking for Ambition on that flank. The first time he noted Ambition, took him down to half HP, then just kept looking in that direction, keep taking pot shots at Ambition while he collects health packs. While that was happening, that's when Chaos Theory were pushing in the cart. That's how they now have the cart around the sort of fountain area, because Daheem was too busy not looking at the cart, not putting any damage on the other 5 members. DeToNator.KOREA just lacked that output.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just played patient, waited for Chaos Theory to come to them, but you're right, with Daheem kind of losing focus, unfortunately that wasn't a factor anymore, but may not matter this time, because DeToNator.KOREA, before Chaos Theory even had a chance to think about fighting,
you almost need a little bit of a bodyguard protection there. Sleepy Bear maybe needs to help out Daheem somewhat. You already probably want to boost him in terms of damage. But DeToNator is just so cautious of Ambition coming from the side. Look, the Dragon Blade now in effect as well. From Ambition's perspective, he's behind the entire team. DeToNator has to even use the Venom Mine behind him. He just has to be so careful of Ambition.
Chaos Theory, though, rotating into the key ultimates.
60 seconds.
They only actually need one fight win. That's a good start. Self-destruct going to be thrown out from Krong to create space. Losing Zest and Blitz. Yeah, before Ambition has started with his one, able to get some work done, and then Ambition going down. Chaos Theory, they had all the tools, but they didn't actually execute. They didn't press the go button.
And why does this look so much like Horizon Attack for Chaos Theory all over again? They're losing a bunch of members. In fact, they're losing a lot more members than they did back then. At least back then, it was kind of one at a time, forcing Chaos Theory to wait for one respawn. And now they're losing 2, 3, 4 at a time. Big fight wins for DeToNator.KOREA, but big ultimates finally for Chaos Theory.
They've actually got to commit them, though. They can't psych themselves out again. Yeah, by Legend indeed. They can't psych themselves out again. Just because you were close to winning Nepal and lost, it doesn't mean you can't win at all. They need to commit, and now finally going in, now that they have no choice, but Ambition already
bodyguard
away, not finding anything. They do at least catch a few with the Primal Rage and Self-Destruct, but they do lose Ambition in it as well. DeToNator.KOREA certainly not out of the fight in their own right, but with Krong looking to get demeched, I cannot believe he has held on to that for so long, but finally loses it, and that will result in a cap for Chaos Theory.
Oh, it nearly didn't happen there. DeToNator even just picks up one kill at the end. It's just going to slow down Chaos Theory from wanting to snowball through onto B. That being said, though, getting modding quite late means DeToNator.KOREA have a lot of waiting time. DeToNator.KOREA have to make this next setup count. DeToNator already in position. Blitz already having the blade. Chaos Theory, I think they'd be quite happy so far to even just get that 8 cap. It happened in overtime, like it nearly didn't.
I mean, it's rough for DeToNator.KOREA in a sense, actually. You know, you've got to consider they were like, all right, we want to, you know, hold this out right here, right now. But now Blitz able to commit his Dragon Blade. Looking to start to stop up this defense, sorry, this offense rather, but no such luck. Thoroughly counted out, at least this time around. And now needing to find another fight to stop the payload from moving. That could be the one, though.
It was a 1-for-1 ultimate trade, though. Blade for a Transcendence. Pretty even this time around. That's a positive.
Yeah, trade back.
Well, no, it's not a positive.
Well, it is now with Blitz dead, so, but then they lose Ambition. The payload has moved a fair bit in this time, at least, and they are getting a little bit more free movement on it. So actually now it's DeToNator.KOREA maybe giving Chaos Theory more space in what has so far been even fights. But now, Chaos Theory do know they have to back off.
That is a lot of cart movement, though, so while that tussle was happening, Chaos Theory pushing that payload along to nearly the end. This is now opening up some flanks to play with. DeToNator have to watch multiple angles now, a lot more scouting required for DeToNator.KOREA, who, by the way, still have a decent amount of ultimates in here. Now less than 1 minute to go.
Oh.
And they're going to have to wait for at least... Okay, they're going to wait for two members now.
DeToNator nearly had the mech back as well. That's what they were waiting for. Zest as well. I mean, these fights are over before they're starting half of the time.
They didn't need to lose 3 members. Like, you lose 1 member, that's tough. 2 is kind of... you know, that sucks a bit more, but then Zest going down is unnecessary at best. Infrasight now going to spot things out. Very easy to identify exactly what kind of push that Chaos Theory want to go for. Aggressive defense.
I like this. There is only 20 seconds remaining. They know that they only need to win the one fight, but they do commit ultimates that don't get anything. Now they actually have to pull back without losing any members. Chaos Theory, in their own right, though, struggling to find anything. Zest having to back off. DeToNator throws the mech in, but doesn't quite find anything.
Should be a
just
blade.
Jostling for now. Yeah, should indeed be a blade for Blitz, and also one for Ambition if he doesn't die to Blitz's own. And it's actually DeToNator.KOREA getting low, commits the Dragon Blade in as the Transcendence ends, finds Legend Savior dead, looking to find Zest in here. Ambition on the other side of this one, not finding anything with his Dragon Blade as he dies to DeToNator. They finally kill Blitz, but it's not going to matter. DeToNator has got this on lockdown. That payload is not moving another inch, not today, no sir. As the overtime ticks down, and 68.7 meters is all DeToNator.KOREA have to make to close out the 4-0.
DeToNator had a stellar game right there as well. Definitely on A, but especially on to B. Uncontested in those final moments. Ambition was just lagging behind with his Dragon Blade. Didn't quite have it in time. Blitz already got the damage done. He maybe didn't get a full team wipe, but he didn't need to get a full team wipe. He drew the attention of Chaos Theory. No one was on DeToNator. He who himself got 2 kills. Ambition finally had the blade in there, but it's not enough for Chaos Theory to bounce back.
Unfortunately not. And once again, their work thoroughly cut out for them. This is a position from which they have yet to succeed, as unfortunate as that is to say for Chaos Theory. But of course, on the side of DeToNator Korea, they are pretty happy, as you can imagine. 3-0 up already. The series clinched, looking to solidify that as of yet undefeated run. They're kind of the boogeyman almost of this competition. They're the team that everyone is afraid of. The team that, or if not afraid of, excited to face, giving a lot of respect to, and so far it's respect that seems to have been well earned and well deserved. Continuing to solidify that with another 4-0 would be a pretty nice way for them to kick off their second week of competition here.
And by the way, this was nearly a full A hold by DeToNator Korea, which was only barely pushed over the line by Chaos Theory in sort of final moments, but they didn't quite have that kind of oomph for that final push onto B, because look, DeToNator Korea, I got to go back to describing them to have this seemingly inevitability about them. It's like they're gonna win. They're gonna get there at the end. If you make it past A, they're gonna hold on to B. This is the kind of thing you just come to expect of this team.
GNX going to be pulling out his own Widowmaker. Krong actually is pulling out one as well. This is a very interesting lineup out of DeToNator Korea. It looks like he is going to go back and change, though, back onto that Diva, having not quite got that opening headshot.
That being said, GNX backed out really quickly, though. He, again, giving just so much respect, having to take that secondary position now as the car will freely get to the archway. In fact, DeToNator Korea might get a kill here, which would be...
Ooh. Yeah, Chaos Theory just barely able to back up, whether that Storm looking to wheel around, getting into position for this courtyard defense as well. That was very close for a moment.
We're nearly past the archway, which is, you know, Chaos Theory should have already been able to defend that.
GNX just kind of getting...
He's got forced out.
Yeah, absolutely forced out. A Savior dead. The dive just kind of an unmitigated success here. Chaos Theory not really putting up much resistance at all. And that is going to result in a cap on point A without too much trouble for DeToNator Korea.
And by the way, this is how Chaos Theory needed to deal with DeToNator Korea's defense. This is how you needed to deal with Daheem on that defensive Widowmaker. Look at the way Blitz and even Krong and everybody else just blew Ambition out of the GNX rather out of the water as a defensive Widowmaker. Now changing onto the Tracer, playing the full dive, card's still underway. Chaos Theory got to make this dive happen. 5 minutes they have to be able to hold for.
Yeah, 5 minutes, and it's going to be a tall order. Blitz already in with the Dragon Blade, finding Legend, just slicing them to bits. 15 health and gets away. It's almost criminal. And Chaos Theory, they've lost these fights so quickly, they don't even have ultimates coming up on rotation to sort of rescue the situation. Gonna finally get some for what will now likely be this last fight.
We're about to cap and they're waiting for respawners. This can't be happening.
Where are they? Where are they? They've got to run to the point. They've got to book it. Are you joking? Oh, finally someone able to get some toes on it. It's GNX, but they lose Legend on the march there. In fact, on the desperate dive there is now DeToNator look to move in, surround. The self-destruct gets 2, and that is going to slam dunk the match for DeToNator Korea. The last few to come through. Zest dropped, Distrain demeched, and Legend was still respawning. DeToNator Korea, that is the most convincing way you could complete a 4-0.
Yeah, and DTN wins. Get used to seeing that one on your screens. That was just a cleanup at the end there. No resistance. Chaos Theory were barely in this defense. I mean, if not for the fact that they managed to get that A cap, like I said, this was probably an expected A full hold. Look, it was just an extra little bit of effort required even by DeToNator to push it all the way to the end, but minimal effort required. It was just, looked so easy.
Man, we barely saw ultimates get used by Chaos Theory there. That was really, really rough. They only got one lot of ultimates up in that entire defense. They were able to pull them out right at the end, but I mean, they lost Legend on the way there. The Valkyrie had already been popped. The Primal Rage just, it did nothing, you know. You couldn't even stall for people because people died too quickly. The Primal Rage was popped really early in the fight. They just got nothing. They got nothing out of anything that they had. And DeToNator Korea, on the other hand, just straight out fragging the whole way through, even on their own defense there. And for how close Nepal went, you wouldn't have expected the final map of that to go the way it did.
The first bit of indecisiveness, by the way, that I've seen out of DeToNator Korea, not knowing whether to just bow to the audience or go straight for the handshakes. But in game, the decisiveness was just so evidently clear for this team. And look, it was a very good start for, I would say, kind of both teams, because they were just matching each other reasonably evenly on the poll. And as we moved on through, it just kind of got easier and easier for DeToNator Korea. Debatably, in fact, I would say, I personally believe Horizon was a little bit more one-sided than even DeToNator, but DeToNator was just, you know, that's just collecting your extra win.
Yeah.
The bonus points.
Yeah. And it's a little unfortunate that it went that way as well, because look, even when you're 0-3 down, you can still get that one map win back, and that can make all the difference. You know, we talk about Chaos Theory, to be honest with you, having now picked up 2 losses, are looking to make top 4 by way of finishing 4th. You know, it's gonna be a hard run for them. You know, it's very achievable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, they might just barely scrape in. Not at all. They've shown their stuff. They showed it there on the poll, but you've got to try and get that extra map win back. Like, I'm not saying they gave up. I don't at all want to insinuate that. But for how one-sided it ended up being, they may as well have given up, which is a really unfortunate thing to say. You want to still bring your A game. You want to still play the way you did on the poll there, because every map is going to count.
And they had so much promise. And I think, you know, one of the best things about Chaos Theory to really compliment them now is when you looked in the poll, the fact that they were